Sit down by the fire. I'll tell you a spell. An ancient old tale of travels through hell. This is a story since ever unheard. Brief glimpses of life and the death of a bird.
Well, good evening, and Merry Christmas. I wish great tidings of comfort and joy unto you, especially those that come from resilient flames burning against the cold, creeping darkness. And also alcohol. Ooh, that's comforting. Tonight we're going to examine a fable, one that speaks of tragedy and violence and purgatorial redemption. You know, real festive stuff. But what this story lacks in the warm fuzzies, it makes up for with the frosty bite of snow, the ravening call of the wild, and the ferocious reek of blood. First, however, we must look to the place where this fable came from. Sweden.
Ah, Sweden. What you lack in culinary aptitude, you make up for with kick-ass music. Opeth, Amon Amarth, Candlemas, ABBA. Hell, we've got entire subgenres named after you. Yes, Sweden's primary export seems to be metal, the musical kind. But I think we should consider adding another name to that list. Avatar is another band that has captured my attention. Despite leaning into more conventional heavy metal than what I was used to, their mix of clean and harsh vocals with highly melodic riffs and colorful structures appealed to me regardless. And their frontman, Johannes Eckerström, just explodes with charisma and energy when he's on stage. He, along with his costumes and makeup and goofy antics, are half the fun of an Avatar show. While their albums generally maintain a consistent musical identity, thematically, one stands alone. 2016's Feathers and Flesh, in my view, transcends the definition of concept album and into the realm of rock opera. It tells an epic story across its 14 tracks, about an owl's efforts to slay an eagle who threatens to bring the day and end the owl's reign of the night. Said story was inspired from the works of Jean de La Fontaine, a 17th century French writer who collected fables from all across Europe and Asia, adapting them for French readers within the aptly titled Fables. Many of these tales feature animal protagonists, and some may even seem familiar, such as The Lion and the Mouse, originally from the Greek fabulist Aesop. There's also The Frog and the Ox, about a titular frog who inflates himself to the point of exploding. De La Fontaine was definitely ahead of his time. Regardless, even in Fontaine's collections, the eagle and the owl have been cast as enemies. In one tale, the two birds vow to cease their fighting and leave each other's babies alone. Eagle asks Owl how he would know who her chicks were, and Owl proclaims her children are beautiful, charming creatures that will be obvious to Eagle's eyes. One day, Eagle finds a gaggle of hideous newborn chicks in a tree hollow and devours them. Owl is furious that Eagle has broken their promise and eaten her babies, but Eagle shifts the blame on her, saying, "If you paint with such flattering colors, it is not my fault if I do not recognize your portraits." While Feathers and Flesh tells an original story, it's expanded upon in a hardcover fable book released alongside the album. The book contains the lyrics to each song, an epic poem stringing the tracks together, and corresponding paintings featured in the album's art videos. And in the year of our Lord 2024, I managed to snag a copy. A blemished copy.
Unacceptable, Avatar. I expected more from a guy who looks like this.
Regardless, this is how we'll spend our Christmas holiday together, with a tale of a mighty queen who has a lot to learn.
We open on a grim scene, an owl, broken and bloodied, on the ground. She laments, "Never had a dream this lonely. Where did everybody go? Never had a dream this dark. Wake me up. Please make it so." She's confused. She's forgotten how to fly. The life is draining from her fragile form, yet she believes it's all just some horrible nightmare. And yet, she tries to stand, but her strength is long gone, as the true Queen of Dusk meets her first dawn. In a final, desperate act. Owl reminisces on her former glory. We flash back to Owl's last night as the undisputed ruler of the stars. A child to the moon and the storm, a silent shadow growing, reborn with every sunset. To her, nothing else mattered, as this was all she had known. Cloaked and silent, each feather a blade, she makes this land her house of eternal hunt. But then, from the east, comes an unearthly noise, a shriek of laughter, dripping with pride to rival even owls. A shadow strikes her with awe, then wild hungry eyes and gargantuan claws. The eagle has arrived, a Luciferian foe bringing with him the rising sun. He addresses Owl. "Oh, what a sensation! Can you see what I see? I'm drowning in light." He then announces to the world, "Your hero has returned again. Everything is going to be okay." Owl does not take this threat kindly. "Pitiful one, you speak without seeing," she proclaims. "The hunt has begun, and soon you'll be bleeding, staring at the night sky ignited." Eagle, however, issues a chilling rebuttal. "I know of your eggs. I've seen how you nurture your claw full of seed. I will thoroughly enjoy them. Now it's my time to feed." Fear moves in where rage should be. Owl sees the impending dawn and its ravening ambassador, and realizes that protecting her children must come first. She scoops up her eggs and flies to the west. She flies without an escape plan, with enough fury to break through the sky. Yet despite her panic, she sings a soothing lullaby. Home is out there somewhere. Somewhere you'll be safe. Sleep, my child, and dream of the new land. Owl places her eggs upon a secluded mountaintop. Still, she refuses to cede the night to Eagle. She implores all her fellow nocturnal creatures to fight for her. "Don't think for a moment that we stand aside for a stranger and cower and flee." The eyes of the night concur. "Show us this eagle. We'll teach him to beg. We'll tear off his wing, his beak, and one leg. He's nature's own error, grew like a tree, born to spread terror. We can take him, tooth, beak, and claw." The battle commences. Or so they want to think. In one fell swoop, in one apocalyptic flash of light, Eagle blinds the would-be warriors and slashes through their ranks with his talons. They're decimated. It's no contest. Meanwhile, a battle-scarred old wolf watches this carnage unfurl, feeling both bliss and heartache. Wherever you go, he thinks, I've already been there. Owl is horrified at Eagle's brutal efficiency, yet she swears vengeance will be hers. But in her flight, she encounters a hive of bees, buzzing with purpose. "Are you my army?" she asks them. "Will you fight the sunrise?" They, however, scoff at her selfish pity. "Gotta go to work," they chant indifferently. "We're all assigned a role for the greater good. 1,000 eyes don't see themselves." Owl does not understand their workers' mentality, for all she had ever known was her own desires. Next, she stumbles across a grasshopper in a field, mourning the death of his companion, a little ant. Owl learns a battle of insects had been waged. An ant had been a cutting casualty. This battle, vicious as it was was small and fell on deaf ears. Still, grasshopper laments. I watch as you slumber, breathless and deep. My fiddle is silent now. I carry on alone. Owl flees the scene, stricken with terror and grief at this flagrant reminder of mortality. And to make matters worse, a chorus rises behind her, the eyes, vindictive voices, screaming, "The owl is to blame! You said that we could fight the dawn, but where can we go from here but down? You've cursed us all!" And amid these calls for her death, only Wolf has some civil words for Owl. Just listen and learn that not only tree trunks can break, burst, and burn. Terrified, Owl dives into a black lake, sinking to its frigid depths. The sounds of chaos and violence from above are muffled and eventually silenced. Her only company is crushing blackness, slimy rocks, and groping algae. And Pike, a stooped, slithering beast who welcomes her to his littoral realm. "You cannot hurt if you stay in the deep," he purrs to her. "You're a victim of living, and too much you've endured. Drown your sorrows in black waters." And Owl might have. A quiet, hidden death seems all the more preferable than the blaze of inglorious rage the surface world above ensures. But Wolf dives in the water and plucks Owl from the lake bed. "Let me go back," she begs. "I finally found home, with true darkness as neighbor." Wolf, however, would not let such a majestic creature fall to such an undignified, depressing fate. "Pathetic! Ridiculous!" he admonishes. "Your quest for the Grail has brought you nothing. If you give up, your bloodline will fail. You are who you are, a furious queen below the first star. We will fight. Fight never ending." With Wolf's encouragement, Owl realizes she must fight not for her own life, but for the night itself. There is so much more that lies beyond her eyes. Her passion reignited, Owl takes to the skies. "Be warned, eagle foe," she declares. "I'm coming for you." Her cries are heard by a passing bear, observing the bloodstained fields left by Eagle, Owl, and the eyes. He knows how this will all end. Owl, Eagle, and especially Wolf, the battle-hungry old rogue. For it's a very old song. Maybe then this time, the bear ponders, the poor fool can finally die. Eagle perches upon a throne of bones, reveling at the incipient dawn. But from the gloomy vestiges of the west comes a vengeful shriek. Owl pounces on Eagle's skull. "I swear by the moon, I'll rip your heart from your chest," she screams, beak and talon slashing and stabbing and shredding. Eagle fights back, and the two are locked in a vicious bloodbath. "Poor little owl," he mocks. "Soon you'll be free." Eagle overpowers her, and just as he's about to deliver a cutting blow, Wolf jumps and seizes the great bird from the air. This is what Wolf had lived for since ages. One glorious battle just as his heart rages. Feathers and flesh fly, meat is stripped from bone, exposed innards freeze in the cold air. And as the three mighty beasts' blood and tears flow into the river, Bear takes a drink from those waters. "Your tears taste exactly the same," he comments. Finally, Owl lies over Eagle's dead body, strewn across the ground. She's won, but at a cost. Her own life seeps from her wounds, along with their blood staining the snow red. But in the east comes the glow of sunrise. "Wolf!" Owl calls out. "We have won, but it's still happening. Why is it dawn now?" To her side, Wolf also lies defeated, torn to ribbons, his strength fading. "I just gave you what you wanted," he whispers. "And you wanted to fight. The sun was always to come back, and only you would not see." Owl draws away somberly. She now understands. Fate, the cycle of day, the seasons, all of it marching onward, rinsing, repeating, regardless of her assumptions. Still, grief overtakes her at the loss of her brother in arms. "Close your eyes," she whispers to him. "We'll hunt another day. I will remember you when the snow lies red." Wolf falls still, and as the sun peeks over the horizon, Owl crawls up the mountaintop to try and see her eggs again. She wants but one assurance, that she's accomplished something good in this cruel world. The morning sky above darkens anew, but not with the night. It's a cavalry of hungry ravens. "Here, brothers, here," they squawk. "Here our feast slumber." Driven mad by the sight of blood and splayed innards, they descend on the corpses of eagle and wolf and the eyes, slurping their juices and drugging themselves on bliss. "Down the throat, out of my mind," they croak. 99 skin barrels served warm, ready for the taking. Sweet raven wine." Overwhelmed by their grotesque spectacle, Owl's resolve fails. She collapses in a heap, disoriented and somber. No idea if her eggs are safe or if they will be. The sunlight blinds her, even burns away her own memories, rendering her a broken, vegetative husk. With all hope lost, death at her door, Owl dedicates her final moments to verse. "I give the night my final breath. For far too long I've been stalling death. I search beneath me, extend my claws. Step out of time, unbound, be lost. Given to the wind, sky, burial." What did we learn from this story? That despite our best efforts, the world carries on, indifferent to our pretensions. That life is a cycle of ups and downs. That everyone has their periods of bright heights and crushing darkness. That all our malaises, our grievances with fate and life matter not, because in the end, it's always the same old song. Remember, owl, eagle, wolf, when you embark on your next endeavor, that those who rise are determined to fall, and that those who have fallen will rise again. And remember, most of all, no matter the prison, all will be well. There's always a jester with stories to tell. Good night.